Welcome. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's good old MF Michael Fletcher with Anthony the Hitman Florio. We are awaiting Michael Bullock and Dee Woodson. I don't think Dee is going to be on tonight because of work commitments, but Michael Bullock should be here. We hope. But oh my goodness, we just can't wait. We got to start right now. And oh my God, what a night it was! SmackDown Live. You know, I know they've been kicking tires for the last 2 weeks, but my goodness, I think they got out of their funk tonight, man. This was unbelievable. I think this was way better than the last two shows. No doubt about that. They went personal. They went there and then some tonight. Started out with a in-ring segment. Well, initially we were supposed to see Carmella versus Natalia. Well, Kevin Owens came out and interrupted. Basically said, you know what? I'm going to be special guest referee. So referee, give me your shirt. The referee relented. Shane McMahon came out. Then, Shane was saying, you know what, Kevin? I'm sick and tired of all the arguing, all the problems, all the stuff that's been going on. You did this to yourself. You made these mistakes, not me. Well, then Kevin got personal. He went there saying, you know what? Why didn't you die at that plane crash? Why didn't you get hurt during that plane crash? Then he was like, you know what? You bring your kids out, have them dancing around, referencing to WrestleMania, and Shane, no doubt about it, said, don't you dare bring my kids involved in this again. Kevin Owens continued saying, you know what? You're trying to impress your daddy. You're trying to impress everybody because this is your own personal playpen. Then he was like, you know what? If you would have gotten hurt in that plane crash, it would have been better for your father, better for your wife, better for your kids. Shane went ballistic. He jumped Kevin Owens, attacked him, threw him over the announce table. Referees, it got to the point where Daniel Bryan had to come out and stop him. It got personal and went there. That's how you start SmackDown Live. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, go. It's yours, my friend. This was definitely, for me, segment of the night.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. Whoa, my goodness gracious. I mean, we always talk about SmackDown Live going there, and oh boy, did they go there and then some. They went there tenfold. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, oh boy. Michael Bullock and I, we're just coming off one of our SmackDown chats as always, and we both agreed. Anytime they bring family into promos and whatnot, that's going too far. And I know Bullock will back me up on that in just a little bit when we go to him. That's definitely what we agreed upon on this. But anyways, a huge heat-seeking promo to open the show by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is one of the best trash talkers in the wrestling industry. And he was in fuego, as Mauro Ranallo would say, or on fire with his delivery here. The comments about Shane's kids will ruffle some feathers, but I'll be honest, I think it was worth the risk. It really ratchets up the intensity of the feud and puts Shane O'Mac in an uncomfortable position, which is where he should be as a commissioner / GM getting physically involved with wrestlers. So, I mean, that's really all we can say on that. So, I mean, I don't know if I can add anything else to that, but whoa. Over this last week and stuff, I mean, look what they've done with. I mean, you thought the segments of Roman Reigns and John Cena were epic. Holy guacamole! This was even more epic. Yowza! I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, when it comes to SmackDown Live, this was their segment of the year. This is the SmackDown Live segment of the year for 2017. So, That's all I can say on that. So this, to me, segment of the night and the segment of the year for the SmackDown Live side of things. I've been very nitpicky about this, not because I'm a Raw guy, but I've been very nitpicky about SmackDown Live. Having put together meh shows over the last few weeks. Well, not only did they bring it tonight, but next week. That's all I'm gonna say. Next week, and MF, like the good brother that he is, he's gonna set the table for all of us on that. I can't wait. So with all that being said, segment of the night, unbelievable. So I don't know what else there is to say. Michael Bullock, Phenom, come on in. I mean, we talked about this during our SmackDown Live chat, and we both agreed. Anytime you bring family into a promo, that's too far.
Yeah, anytime you bring family into it, that's going way too far as I'm concerned. Because you know me, I'm a family guy, and I have a great family, and Florio knows that, and Michael Fletcher certainly knows that from seeing my family. Uh, yeah, anytime you bring up family and you insult them like that, that's making it very personal, and that's what Kevin Owens did here tonight. I mean, first off, trying to tell Shane McMahon, "Oh, you're the reason why uh, I'm not the United States champion." And Shane's like, "You know what? You have nobody to blame but yourself. I mean, you had the chance to win your matches. You're not, and you failed on it." And then the whole thing with bringing up his kids and and then basically saying, "You know what? I wish you had died in that, or at least get hurt in that plane crash. And you know what? Your family would have been better off without you. Your dad, your wife, and your children." And that's when Shane McMahon went off. He went off in a big way, and it took security and uh, and SmackDown Live GM Daniel Bryan to try to pull Shane McMahon off. So yeah, the last few shows haven't been really impressive, but boy, they started off with a bang tonight and then some. So when it comes to SmackDown Live, I do agree. This is not just the segment of the night, but the segment of the year. So really got nothing more to say. Fletch, let's move on to our first matchup of tonight's SmackDown Live.
And actually, just to hit a sidebar here, anybody who thought that this was the end of the Shane McMahon Kevin Owens thing, no, it was not. A
Oh,
lot of things broke down with that tonight. We'll get into it, but like, don't worry, we'll get into it.
I was just about to say, like, if in the immortal words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, if you thought this feud between Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens was over, it's not over.
Well, what I was gonna do before I was interrupted was there was a backstage thing. Daniel Bryan apologizing to Kevin Owens, saying, "Look, Shane went overboard. That was the wrong thing to do. That was a bad move on his part. He should have known better." And Owens threatened that he was going to take over SmackDown Live. That this was really going to be the Kevin Owens show. Well, like I said, more to come later tonight. We'll get into it right here on the Cerebral Smack Talk. The next thing we did have was the actual match that was supposed to start off SmackDown Live before Owens interrupted, and that was Carmella, the Money in the Bank holder, going one-on-one with SmackDown Women's Champion Natalya. And please note, because this was a non-title match, the reason behind that was, well, as Anthony would like to say, as part of setting the table for next week, Naomi has implemented her rematch clause, and next week, from the brand new T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, it will be Natalya versus Naomi a return match from SummerSlam for the WWE Smackdown Women's title. Now, in this fight tonight, it was Natalya versus Carmella, the winner of the bout. In about 9 minutes and actually 5 minutes and 44 seconds, it was Natalya getting the win over Carmella. Basically, what happened was that stupid idiot, James Ellsworth, jumped up on the ring apron and basically during a pinning combination. Now, this was after Carmella hit a super kick on Natalya. Ellsworth jumps up on the apron and drops the Money in the Bank briefcase. The referee picks it up thinking, is this a cash-in? Is this a cash-in? Are you sure you want to do this? Carmella's saying, no, 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 no. This is not the time. I'm not trying to cash it in. And she throws the briefcase back to Ellsworth, starts yelling at him for why did you drop the briefcase? Why are you up on the apron at the first place? Next thing you know, the dreaded roll-up of doom. 1, 2, 3. The fight is over. Natalya wins. Now, things got interesting. After the replays and everything else, Carmella got on the mic and went there. She verbally berated James Ellsworth and said, you know what? I'm sick of you. I'm sick of all this garbage you've been spewing at me, and you've messed up for the last time. Later for you. Bye-bye. You're gone. We're through. Well, are they really through? You're just going to have to wait and find out. Until then, Anthony Florio, give me your thoughts about the match, but I know you definitely got something to say about the post-fight, that little dress down that Carmella gave to the troll Ellsworth.
Did you just use a Luigi PS3 reference, MF? Did I hear you say later for you? Oh.
Yes, and then I also did the legendary Cody Boynes bye-bye as well.
Wow. A Luigi PS3 reference and a Cody Boynes reference on this in the same moment. Awesome. That's epic. Before I give you my thoughts, MF, I have to correct you. Yes, SmackDown Live is in Las Vegas, but it's not the T-Mobile Arena. It's the Thomas and Mack Center. They're actually going back to the Thomas and Mack Center.
Oh, all right. I thought it would have been T-Mobile. All right, I stand corrected. Hey, Thomas and Mack Center is not bad of an arena either. They've had many WWE events in the past.
Yes, indeed. They've had Monday Night Raws. They've had SmackDowns before. They did a pay-per-view. They had the 2001 No Way Out, which was a damn good show. I mean, Stone Cold, Triple H, the 3 Stages of Hell, 5-star classic. I mean, you got to go back and watch that on the network. And, of course, The Rock won the title from Angle. We all remember that, but that's a story for another day. But anyways, as far as this match is concerned, I have 5 minutes and 44 seconds as the time of the fall. I'm going to give it about 2 to 2.25 stars for the effort. I mean, it was a fine match for what it was. It was okay. It was nothing really special. But Michael Bullock and I were definitely having a lot of fun when Carmella told Ellsworth later for you. I mean, awesome. I mean, that's all kinds of epic right there, man. And I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, we were hoping for this, we were praying for this, and well, as the man of the Lord, as the holy roller of this panel, I'm gonna make a listen to this word of wisdom from your good brother here. Damn it! I'm trying to get a thought here. When it comes to it, never underestimate the power of prayer, because it always works. No matter what you pray for, no matter what you ask, you shall have it. Bullock and I were praying and hoping that the day would come where we would finally see Ellsworth get his just desserts, and well, he got his just desserts and then some. So that's all I can say on that. So yes, there is another segment with these two later in the night. MF will set the table on that, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get an MF expression during it. MF, do you remember the expression you would always say to me whenever we would see? Well, I'm not going to try to give too much away of it here, but in the past, we would always see, whenever we would see a beautiful woman slap a dude in the face, you would always say, "Wham, bam, thank you, man. May I have another?" Grr. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear that from you later on. So, and I even told Bullock that. So, Bullock knows your little expression from back in the day when we used to have these things. So, just a little foreshadowing. So, 2 to 2.25 stars, but Ellsworth getting his just desserts. That was 5 stars, man. That's all I can say. So, Michael Bullock, come on in and let's get your thoughts on Carmella and Natalya, and of course that dink, Ellsworth finally getting what he deserves.
Yeah, 2 stars on the match. I thought it was good for what it was. I mean, we had some good action in that short amount of time. Yeah, I mean, James Ellsworth basically dropping the briefcase, wondering if there was going to be a cash in. I mean, especially from the referee. And Natalya took advantage of it, rolled her up, and got the win. And Carmella, I mean, basically berated James Ellsworth, saying, "I'm sick of you, and you know what? I mean, I'm sure I wish your mother never gave birth to you." And I'm like, whoa. Tell us how you really feel, Carmella. Well, she basically did, and she finally kicked James Ellsworth to the curb, and all I can say is, in the immoral words of our GM Daniel Bryan, yes, 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 because James Ellsworth, Carmella just cut you. She was basically like saying, in the immoral words of Cody Boynes, you know what, I'm just gonna cut him. Bye bye. So yeah, don't let the door hit you in the you know what, James Ellsworth. Good riddance to you, you dank. So nothing else to say. Fletcher, give it to you.
All right. So the next thing we had, well, normally you always expect this on Monday Night Raw, or especially on Ridiculously Raw. Unfortunately for us, we actually have a couple of cutouts I gotta call here for the show. First off, we had a segment with Dolph Ziggler doing different variations of characters and whatnot. Nah, that didn't work for me. That didn't work for Florio. It didn't work for Mike Bullock. And I get it. If you're trying to cool us down after what was undoubtedly a very emotional, red-hot start for SmackDown Live, this was necessary. Fine. I got nothing wrong with it. But the placement of it was very bad. Second off, we had a match, Aiden English versus Sami Zayn, and Aiden English actually gets the win. A minute 48. Obviously, worst fight of the night because that was a very bad match, too quick for our liking, but let's give it up for Aiden English, man. That was actually a big win for him. Good for him. I like that. I got really nothing more to say about that, but we did have, now we're going to get serious. Now we're going to have some fun. Next thing we had was a backstage segment, Daniel Bryan with the New Day and the Usos. And as many of you guys know, last week on SmackDown Live, the Usos won the right to name a stipulation for the SmackDown Tag Team title fight. And oddly enough, the rematch was implemented. It was accepted. next week from Las Vegas, Nevada at the Thomas and Mack Center. And the Usos have decided to do a Sin City street fight for the tag team titles. After that, after all that happened, the next thing we know we had was a phone call. Well, Daniel Bryan, I'm thinking, oh, it's probably Brie, just checking up on her man, saying, how you doing? Oh, no. It was from somebody from WWE corporate. And who knows who is behind the phone? Well, we later found out who is behind the phone. But Daniel Bryan had to go out, and he had to make an announcement. He brings out Shane McMahon, and once he comes out, he basically tells Shane, what were you thinking, man? Why did you do that? About a year ago, that The Miz was berating me, giving me a whole bunch of garbage, trying to get me out of retirement, trying to poke the finger at me, the whole 9 yards. And you should know better than anybody else that I don't deal with that. I had to take it with a grain of salt. I had to deal with whatever I had to deal with. I've had people talk about my daughter. I had people talking about other things in my life. You gotta let me be. So, what happens next? Shane's like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. That was my bad. I never should have gone there. I never should have taken it that personal. But that he brought my family into this. And as a father, once you bring your children into this, there's no turning back. Daniel's like, look, the damage has already been done. And you want to fix this, but I just got a phone call from your father, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And on the behalf of the chairman of the board of World Wrestling Entertainment and the CEO of the company, Shane, I'm sorry, man. You have been indefinitely suspended, commissioner of Smackdown Live. Man. Ouch. All right. Mike Bullock. Oof. Shane O'Mac's been suspended, man. They dropped that. And of all people, it was, and of all people, it was your boy, Daniel Bryan, that was the judge, the jury, and the executioner.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Daniel Bryan had to do what had to be done. You can understand that Shane McMahon was upset about how Kevin Owens insulted his family, but you're the commissioner and you're not supposed to be putting your hands on superstars, and that was the ruling. And unfortunately, Shane McMahon now has to pay the price that he has been suspended indefinitely. So yeah, so no Shane O'Mac shuffle for a while, but once again, this, regarding this whole thing, this is not, if you think you've heard the last of this, well, something happened at the end of the show that, well, Fletcher's going to get into that. So I'm not going to spoil it. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. Fletch, your thoughts on Shane O'Mac being suspended indefinitely? No more Shane O'Mac shuffle for a while.
I'm just gonna pass it right off to Anthony Florio. So I
All
got
right.
really nothing more to say. Anthony, it's all yours, my friend.
Yeah. Before I get into that, I wanna briefly address the Dolph Ziggler thing, if that's okay. I've been reading a dirt sheet. I read a dirt sheet recently saying that Dolph Ziggler has literally been phoning it in. True story. I'll send you. I'll try to find that dirt sheet and I'll link it to you, MF, in our group chat box here on the Hangout. So we'll keep a lookout for that within the next few minutes. But as far as this goes, this was the other segment of the night. I mean, this was the second segment of the night. I mean, Daniel Bryan was the right guy to do it. He comes across as sincere, and WWE fans believe him to be looking out for their best interest. I think Shane O'Mac, however, comes across as a martyr here, doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. But I'm still skeptical of how nuanced we can expect the follow-up to be, given how the show has been written in recent months. But up to that point, it was certainly a newsworthy show, and it's only going to get even more newsworthy as we go forward. Of course, Corey Graves is now on commentary, for goodness sakes. So, what else is there to say? So this was the second segment of the night. I don't know what the story is with Shane O'Mac, but Michael Bullock and I, during our SmackDown Live chat, MF, we were thinking, and Bullock was the one, and I'm surprised Bullock didn't mention this. So I'll mention it for you, Bullock. You said this during our SmackDown chat earlier. He thinks that Shane O'Mac's suspension is going to be lifted in time for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which will be next month, October the 8th, at the brand new Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. And we both agreed, and we think that it will be Shane McMahon one-on-one with Kevin Owens, and we also think it's going to be inside Hell in a Cell.
What do you think, Fletch?
Yeah, what do you think about that, MF? But what do you think of Bullock's little scenario there?
Agree, disagree, or better scenario?
I could see that. There's no doubt about it. I think it would be a good fight. But again, you got to start worrying about Shane McMahon's age. And even though he did the Hell in a Cell with Taker at WrestleMania, and that was a real dangerous fight, I don't know if we're going to get something like that. I hope. I just don't know. I think it would be a good match. And I got nothing bad to say about it. And I agree. If you do a match like that, I definitely would be on board. I got my reservations. Let's say that.
All right, fair enough. So that's really all I can say on the segment there. I mean, it kind of reminded me of almost like that Triple H and Vince McMahon segment from 2011. You know, when Triple H basically was relieving Vince of his duties. We all remember that angle, right around the CM Punk situation with John Cena and the Money in the Bank. We all remember that epicness. So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, if I'm being honest. I was having flashbacks to 6+ years ago. So, but like I said, Daniel Bryan was the right guy to do it. I mean, who better than your most trusted associate there to let you down gently? So, sorry, Bullock. You'll have to find videos of the Shane O'Mac Shuffle on YouTube if you want to do it for yourself and impress Mary Ellen and other things. So,
well, at least I got to see it. At least I got to see it live.
That's right. When you guys went to SmackDown a few weeks ago, yes. So that's really all I could say there. So for me, the other segment of the night. So well done, came off great. So all right, MF. I understand our next match features a lone wolf and a guy who the ring announcer always likes to call as the Perfect 10.
Ty Dillinger goes one-on-one with Baron Corbin. AJ Styles out there at ringside for a commentary. And the winner about at 9 minutes and 38 seconds was Baron Corbin. You know what? I got to say it. this was a really good match. I could easily call this maybe the second best fight of the night. I was really impressed with Dillinger. He really gave it. I mean, ever since he debuted at the Royal Rumble, and then the night after WrestleMania, this has to be the best match he's ever had. I know it was in a losing effort, and I know Corbin has been a little bit in the doghouse lately because of, comments that he made, and then there was a rumored fight with him and John Cena in Providence that led to him losing the Money in the Bank, and there was a lot of things that broke down. But there was one other thing that also occurred, and that is all of a sudden now you see the ascension of Ty Dillinger. A week ago he challenged for the United States title, and Corbin kind of ruined that fight. That was kind of an unfair to him. That was an unfair. So what happens? They give him another match, and even though Dillinger lost in what I thought was a very good performance. Basically it was Corbin backdooring his way. He kind of gave him a little chop to the throat while the referee was trying to break the two up. Got in the middle, and AJ flipped out. I mean, AJ went on a rant after that happened. So much so that after the fight was over in a backstage segment, shocking. I couldn't believe that he announced this. But AJ Styles actually said for 1 week that he was going to waive the open challenge rule, and he offered Ty Dillinger at the United States Heavyweight Championship, which was accepted. So, ladies and gentlemen, next week on SmackDown Live, you're not getting 1, you're not getting 2, you're getting 3 championship fights on Sin City SmackDown from the Thomas and Mack Center in Vegas. First, Natalya and Naomi for the SmackDown Women's title. The Sin City Street Fight, New Day versus the Usos for the tag team titles. And now, versus the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger for the United States Heavyweight title. This event has already the makings of being phenomenal. No pun intended. All right, for me, the fight, I'll say 2.5 to 3 stars. This was a pleasant surprise. I did not expect this to be any good, and it actually was better than I thought. So, nothing more to say. Anthony Floyd, what's yours?
You're absolutely right, MF. 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating as well. I mean, nailed it right on the head, no doubt about it. And you're absolutely right. This was better than I expected, given what we had seen from Dillinger on the main roster and Corbin's usual pacing issues. I don't know that the crowd really bought into Dillinger's near falls, but I think he gave a good performance that could be built upon. They really have to figure out how to make something other than the Perfect 10 gimmick stick for him. I have no idea what his motivation is, and this character doesn't really offer much in the room for exploration, if I'm being honest. But we might have something interesting coming up next week. I mean, an opportunity of a lifetime. The Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, squaring off against the phenomenal AJ Styles for the United States Heavyweight Championship. I mean, whoa. That coupled with the tag team title match, the Sin City Street Fight with the Usos and the New Day, and then you couple that with Natalya and Naomi in their SummerSlam return match for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, or in Naomi's case, the LED Women's Championship. You got the makings of a possible SmackDown of the year. I went there, and I may just go there again a little at the end of the show, if you know what I mean. Because when you hear there is one more thing, and I'm going to let good old MF wheel that one as well. And when you hear what else is on tap for next week, I'm calling it right now. Next week's SmackDown Live is going to be the SmackDown Live of the year. Period. End of quotation. End of statement. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on Baron Corbin and the perfect 10. 2.5 to 3 stars.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 stars. I'm going to give this fight as well. I mean, yeah, going into this, I really didn't have any high expectations on it, but this match turned out way better than what I originally expected. So, yeah, now next week, Ty Dillinger is going to get a shot at the United States Championship against AJ Styles. So, yeah, next week when SmackDown Live comes to you from Las Vegas, we're not only getting one, we're not only getting two, but we're also getting, we're getting 3 championship matches on SmackDown Live next week. Whew. Man, oh man, that's going to be something. So, nothing else to say. 2.5 to 3 stars. Fletch, I give it to you.
All right. So the next thing we had, it was a backstage segment, and it was Ellsworth with well, actually, there was this video package with about the glorious Bobby Roode, and you know what? I gotta say it. I love Corey Graves on SmackDown Live now because now he can be himself. He went after Saxton as usual, like he did on Monday Night Raw.
Shut up,
and,
Saxton.
And this time, he talked about how he was the glorious Bobby Roode, how it was glorious for him, which was awesome. So after the video package, then we had James Ellsworth. He found Carmella, and look, he tried to beg for the forgiveness. He tried to beg for the forgiveness, like, look, you're right. I'm a troll. I'm an idiot. I'm a fool. I made all these. I messed up. Please give me another chance. I'm nothing without you. Carmella turns around and she's like, from now on, we do things my way. You got that? Ellsworth's like, okay. Then she kissed the freaking troll and then slapped the living daylights out of him. Wait, what? Okay, I love you, I hate you, can't live without you? This isn't no wham bam, thank you, man. Thank you, sweetheart, may I have another? No. This is a WTF. This is a what the what? Wait a minute. First off, you kicked him to the curb, did the later for you. Then all of a sudden, you give him the literal term of Luigi PS3. You literally gave him the lovin's. Then just paintbrushed him all the way back to. You literally paintbrushed him all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada. What the heck is this? Now I know the term love hurts, but jeepers crow, man, what the hey? You guys don't have to jump in on this. I'm just throwing periodically. If you want to jump in, be my guest. But I don't know.
Just one quick comment, MF. When
Sure.
Bullock and I saw James Ellsworth with that walk of shame, I basically had to let out the Ann Robinson. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Ain't that right, Bullock?
Yeah, you are the weakest link. Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness, the walk of shame. And the next thing, yeah, but I mean, he didn't get the walk of shame after that. He was even Corey Graves was saying, you know what, man? I hate to say this, but I wish I was James Ellsworth right about now.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I think I was about to say that. How many fellas out there was gonna wanted it to be Ellsworth putting those lips on that beauty? Now I know Big Cass I know that's Big Cass's girl.
Yes, it is.
and she's taken.
Indeed.
But in storyline mode, are you kidding me? All right, I guess the troll actually score one for the nerds out there in the world too.
Nerds.
For the chinless.
Yes, I was about to do that too. One of my friends, one of my friends actually liked my Facebook comment because I threw the nerds thing out I think a week ago on my Facebook, and she was like, I thought that was so hilarious. I was like, that's kind of a wrestling reference, and she's like, really? I was like, I'll show you the clip and everything else. I gotta show you the clip and everything else. Never got to it, but I'll do it someday. Anyway, so I guess Carmella and Ellsworth are still together. How's that gonna play out leading into next week, and especially on SmackDown Live in Vegas? Now that we know there's a guaranteed title fight, and the Money in the Bank is in play too. Because she hasn't cashed in yet. Anytime, any place, anywhere. And she has yet to cash it in. Could the Money in the Bank be in play next week? We'll find out. On to the main event of the evening. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Randy Orton. The winner of the fight gets the opportunity. Jinder Mahal, the modern day Maharaja, for the WWE title at Hell in a Cell. The winner of the bout at 13 minutes and 22 seconds. And the number one contender is Shinsuke Nakamura. He beats Randy Orton with the Kinshasa! All right, who leads off? Florio, is it you?
I believe it is, MF.
All right, Florio, it's yours. Nakamura wins with the Kinshasa, aka the Bombaye knee. It's all yours, my friend.
Corey Graves, he did it. Not as enthusiastic as I thought he would, but he did it anyway. Kinshasa. Yes, sir. Oh, it's so great to have him on SmackDown Live. Awesome. Obvious fight of the night. 3.5 stars. I love the closing minutes of the match. The RKO reversals felt fresh, and Nakamura going over was absolutely the right call for SmackDown Live. I'm not sure. I don't know, and I'm skeptical if he'll actually come out of Hell in a Cell with the belt. But I have enjoyed watching Nakamura pick up reputation-building victories in the process of challenging for the WWE Championship. And on another funny level here, another funny haha level, what was up with Jinder's suit? I mean, I told Bullock this during our SmackDown chat as well. What happened? Did he?
He stole it from Gene Rayburn.
Match game 1975, baby. He was wearing one of those Gene Rayburn plaid suits.
What? Wait, what? Hold on. Time out. A plaid suit. You're kidding me, right?
That looked like.
Yeah, did you see it?
No, I wasn't even thinking about it.
Well, if you notice Jinder's suit, Jinder had this funky suit on. It looked like something that you would used to see Gene Rayburn or a lot of game shows back in the 70s wear. Gene Rayburn.
Yeah, that he wore on the match game. And I'm like sitting there like, you kidding me? You had to go that route?
I mean, he looked like it. It looked like he was wearing one of those 70s game show host suits.
I'm like, Gene Rayburn's got to be rolling in his grave right now after seeing that.
Yeah, Jinder looks like a blank wearing one of my funky suits. Well, that's a story for another day. But like I said, this was a very good match. I mean, this was 3.5 stars easy. This was the fight of the night, Shakespearean drama at its finest. And I'm going to be honest, I had no doubt in my mind. I knew Nakamura was going to win this thing. I mean, after all, we had a classic case of booking 101 last week when Randy Orton hit the RKO out of nowhere on Nakamura, which made MF, MF was bouncing around like Tigger when he saw that. I wouldn't be surprised if he was, but nonetheless, though, I mean, this was a great match. It lived up to the hype, and like I said, the outcome, I got to be honest, a little bit predictable. I mean, we all knew Nakamura was going to win this thing because, you know, they're not through with him and Mahal by a long shot. And don't worry, Shinsuke Nakamura eventually will be the WWE champion. The big question is, will it be next month at the brand new Little Caesars Arena in Detroit? And you got to believe they're going to put this thing inside the Devil's Playground, Hell in a Cell. And if they do, oh boy, what's that going to be like when you've got the King of Strong Style and the modern day Maharaja inside the Devil's Playground? Think about that. Think about it for a minute. That's all I can say. So, fight of the night, 3.5 stars. Great way to close out one of the best SmackDown Lives I've seen in quite a while, because they were putting together some meh shows over the last couple of weeks, with the exception of the show in Providence. But over the last couple of weeks, they have been blah shows. Well, this show is anything but blah tonight. They actually competed with Raw for a change. Good. About time. We embrace competition. Let's go. So, Michael Bullock, let's get your thoughts on the main event. Lived up to the hype in my book. 3.5 stars. Fight of the night.
Yeah, this was definitely a 3.5-star match, and definitely the fight of the night. Yeah, this definitely turned out to be what I expected. A very good match for what it was. We knew Shinsuke Nakamura was going over. Yeah, I mean, Florio pretty much touched on everything. So 3.5 stars, fight of the night. Fletch, I give it to you.
Yeah, 3.5 stars, fight of the night, no doubt about that. This was an amazing battle. Great match. Everything worked to perfection. The match itself was very, very well done. And I love the fact how, yes, it was slow and methodical in certain areas, but boy, what I loved how it really looked like Nakamura. And the thing was, wasn't really fazed by Nakamura's antics for the most part. But then the knees came into play. And once those devastating knees, trust me, Nakamura can hit a knee strike from anywhere in wrestling, man. New Japan Pro Wrestling, he used to do those running knees, those lethal knees that he was doing. That knee off the rope, that is vintage Nakamura. There's only one move he didn't do, which I wish he would have done, was a knee strike on the outside. Basically, he hangs the guy out on the ring apron and just comes with like an exploder knee right on the guy and really like leaves almost in a dazed and confused state. But Randy Orton was able to do a lot of his maneuvers, a lot of his vintage work. DT, he hit him with that power slam after Nakamura was setting up for the Kinshasa the first time around, got reversed into a power slam, try to go for the RKO, that got reversed, and that one of the most beautiful counters I've ever seen in a match. An RKO into an almost armbar maneuver by Nakamura. Nakamura is notorious for armbar submissions. He never gets them, but it's the way he normally gets or sets up for those arm bars. Those are also another fixture of vintage Nakamura thing you got to see a lot in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He actually did a reversal of an RKO into that arm bar tonight, and I almost marked. I freaked out when I saw that. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That's unbelievable. I was a kid in the candy store, man. This normally and Mike Bullock knows when he was with me that I'm very observant. I watch the action. I'm very more low key. This time around, I was not low key. I was getting really into this. I was really excited. This is one of those rare times where I'm no longer a commentator. I became the fan again when these two guys got into it. Early in the fight, I was definitely that commentator, being professional, everything else. But Anthony, you were absolutely right. That final 5-10 minutes of that fight, it really brought it home. And I think all three of us will admit we no longer were like commentators. This was no longer us being like Byron Saxton, like Michael Cole, like or Tom Phillips and Corey Graves. We were just three fans. Just let it sink in. Let's go. At that point, definitely great way to close the show. And more to say. Time for the overall review. Mike Bullock, you lead off, my friend. What's the overall rating for SmackDown Live tonight?
Well, all I could say is this was definitely the best SmackDown Live I've seen. I'm going to give this about 8.5 out of 10. I mean, this was definitely a very good show, to say the very least. I mean, yeah, you did have a couple of cutouts, but some of the matches were good. But the segments, basically ruled the root, especially with the whole Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon confrontation at the beginning of the show that really set the tone for tonight's show. And Fletch, did you talk about what happened after the fight with Nakamura and Orton?
I'm actually gonna get to that about on my overall review. I'm not gonna tip it yet, but I will do it very soon.
All right. So I'll save it for when you do it. So since you are the hype man, so nothing more to say. 8.5 out of 10. Florio, am I gonna give it to you, Fletch, or should I give it to Florio?
Give it to Anthony.
All right, then Florio, it's yours.
8 to 8.5 out of 10 is my rating for this. One of the best SmackDown Lives over the last couple of weeks. I mean, the last good one was when MF and Bullock went up to the Duncan Providence 3 weeks ago. The last 2 weeks prior were rather meh shows, if I'm going to be honest. But overall, this show was above average with some major events taking place and setting the tone for 3 championship matches and a huge confrontation for next week's show. It wasn't perfect, but it was a very entertaining 2 hours for the most part. Nakamura and Orton fight of the night. Corbin and Dillinger, the second best fight of the night. And by default, I'll round out the top 3 with Carmella and Natalya. And we only had like one bad match on the show, and we had those 2 great segments, Shane McMahon with Kevin Owens and then Shane McMahon with Daniel Bryan. So, yeah, SmackDown Live really needed to put a good show together after the last 2 weeks were rather blech. But this show is anything but blech tonight. I recommend everything. The only thing I do not recommend, however, don't bother with the English and Zayn fight. Even though me being the Aiden English mark that I am, mainly because of his singing voice, because, it's right up there with Robert Goulet and Pavarotti, like I always say. So, so this was a great show. 8 to 8.5 out of 10. If the women's match had been a little bit better, then I would have gone higher. But that's all I could say. So 8 to 8.5. I'm right there with Bullock. So MF, let's get your overall rating, and we got one more thing that's going to happen on next week's show that will literally make it the SmackDown of the year next week. 3 title matches, and what else could happen?
Okay. Well, first off, 8 to 8.5 out of 10. Absolutely correct. I'll give you that. Way better SmackDown Live. And what I think it was, and I'm going to openly admit this. I think what happened was, there's always that time where WWE takes off what they call this summer swoon. And that is normally after SmackDown, after WWE, sometimes they want to take a little bit of a break and, they take this little siesta, and sometimes the quality of the shows suffer. And we get a little annoyed about it. I know there's been a lot of times in the past where we ranted about the fights getting called off and the whole 9 yards and blah, 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 blah. Well, for 2 weeks in a row, SmackDown Live really didn't have nothing to really show for because there's no major pay-per-view coming up. There was nothing that's significant, at least on the SmackDown end, because we got so much ahead of time. And, because we got SummerSlam and then there's Hell in a Cell. So there was really nothing else in between. And a lot of people were like, well, what the heck? Blah, 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 blah. So and that was epic. Then you had SummerSlam. And then maybe on SmackDown Live you could say, all right, the Brooklyn was okay, but nothing, nothing to write home about because it was newsworthy because you had Robert Roode, or Bobby Roode, I should say, and you also had Shelton Benjamin debuting. Last week was a literal kick at the can, throwaway, nothing good. This week they had something to fight for because next week they made the show even bigger. So, with that said, next week's SmackDown Live is the 3 title fights. We already broke it down. If you kind of coming in late, you haven't seen the show, these are the matches you're going to witness next week. Natalya putting the SmackDown Women's title on the line against former champion Naomi in a rematch from SummerSlam. Also, a rematch from SummerSlam. The New Day will go up against the Usos. SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line in a Sin City street fight. Fight number 3. AJ Styles puts the United States Heavyweight title on the line against the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. And more importantly, we got ourselves a big problem on our hands. The chairman of the board is coming! Run! Yes, Vincent Kennedy McMahon is coming to SmackDown Live. We are in trouble. We better be on our P's and Q's next week because you know why he's coming after here? Because of the Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, all that stuff that happened and the whole 9 yards. The next thing we know, all right, so Vincent Kennedy McMahon's showing up. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. What's that going to be like next week? All right. Well, I'll tell you what it's going to be like. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So now the Mikey's mindset. And I'm going to get into something that I wanted to get into last night. All right. So last night I actually got a message from a couple of people that I know from the internet wrestling community. The producers of the show verified the information, and it was legit. It is confirmed. There is no doubts about it. It is happening. So, what happened? This is what happened. Over the night, last night in Mexico, AAA has decided to strip Sexy Star of the Reina de Reinas championship. She is no longer the women's champion in AAA. Now, this could be a number of factors. Number 1, her attitude and the reason behind her recent attack that she did on Rosemary during Triplemania 25 and that beatdown and subsequently her injuring her arm doing that cross arm breaker. That was an illegal move and got her into some nuclear heat with everybody from professional wrestling. Then yesterday, during the day, Sexy Star basically, almost in a way, kind of was like a sorry, not sorry type thing. Basically saying that the whole thing was a conspiracy and that basically it was the wrestling community trying to drag her name through the mud. And actually, she accused Rosemary of faking the injury. That got a lot of people upset. It's a 4-page article that she wrote herself yesterday, and I'm not getting into that because it's four pages long. It'll take me over a half an hour to get through that. No, I'm not doing it. So, what happens next? Ramifications are devastating on this. Reina de Reinas has stripped her of the title, so who knows what that's going to lead to now in the rest of the world. But I will say this, it's going to be unbelievable what is coming up next. So now, coming up, I believe it is coming up, there's a big event really soon, and it's supposed to be, I want to see, hold on. That's not it. Where's the Ring of Honor card? Oops, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Wikipedia. Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I think this is how they do it. No, Ring of Honor right here. That Super Card of Honor, no. Well, coming up is the final battle? No. Let me see. Let's see. Is it here? I think it's here. I think this is it. This is the one. All right. It's Death Before Dishonor. That's the one I wanted to talk about. All right. So Death Before Dishonor. Okay. So Death Before Dishonor 2017. Let's see. There we go. Death Before Dishonor. All right. So coming up in just a matter of weeks, or actually I should say, yeah, in a matter of weeks, is Death Before Dishonor 15 from Las Vegas, Nevada, and the Sam's Town Live Casino, Resort and Casino in Vegas. Already 4 matches have been announced for this match. First off, we got the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles on the line, as it's gonna be the Hang Bucks, Adam Page and the Young Bucks, and they're gonna defend their titles against a mystery 6-man team. We don't know who that's gonna be yet. Well, actually, no, we're gonna find out, because on that night we got Vinny Malinagi, TK O'Ryan, and Matt Taven the Kingdom against Bully Ray and the Briscoes, and the winners of that fight will fight the Hang Bucks later that night. Then the Ring of Honor television title on the line, Kenny King going one-on-one against Kushida. And in the main event so far for the Ring of Honor world title, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes will go one-on-one with New Japan Pro Wrestling superstar Minoru Suzuki. Oh my goodness, what a match that is going to be. So, then we do have some RWA news that I would like to announce. So, the next time the RWA is supposed to have an event, RWA is supposed to have an event coming up. Let's see where it is. I thought I had it here. Hold on. Let me see. RWA, where are you? Where are you? All right. Fatal Impact. And this is going to go down in a couple of weeks on Saturday night, September 16th. And I can now announce a couple of fights that have been announced for the fight card, guys. And what we will have on this night or on this event, it's going to be RWA Chris Cruz going one-on-one against the Heat Chris Pyro in a one-on-one match. And the Cool People will be in action as well. And they have not announced who they're going to fight yet. So we're just going to keep you posted. It is still raw. It's still new. But once we get more matches announced, I'll have it for you guys next week on Cerebral Smack Talk. And guys, that's it for the night. So we are done. So Thursday night or early Friday morning, I don't know, but immediately after the NFL, or I should say after the Patriots versus the Chiefs goes down, go to Anthony Floyo's page at the Tone 25 as we'll have College Football Thursday. We'll run down all the action for college football week number 2 officially. And on Friday at 10:30 Eastern is NFL Football Friday. We're going to briefly recap Patriots and Chiefs, and we're going to run down the rest of the NFL schedule. A lot of things are going on in the NFL right now. Number one, the Dolphins and Buccaneers. The game will not be in Miami. It has been moved out of Miami because of the fact of Hurricane Irma is threatening the south end of Florida, and they're moving the game possibly to the Northeast is what I'm hearing. Rumors is that it could be either in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, guys. So I don't know how that's going to play out. We're going to wait and see what happens. Plus, Ezekiel Elliott's 6-game suspension has been upheld. How is that going to affect Cowboys versus the Giants? You'll have to wait till Friday for that. And until then, that is it for now. For Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, in spirit, Didi Woodson, and Derek Ferreira, I'm Michael Fletcher. You know the routines. Hug the hand pounds. We're out. Have a good night, everybody. So long for now, and bye-bye, everybody.